In almost every act of our lives, whether in the sphere of politics or business, in our social conduct or ethical thinking, we are dominated by the relatively small number of persons who understand the mental processes and social patterns of the masses. It is they who pull the wires that control the public mind, who harness our old social forces and contrive new ways to guide the world. Edward Bernays. Edward Bernays, a historical leader during World War I and global leader in public opinion, is considered to be the father of public relations. His contributions to what started as a narrow concept of propaganda and press agentry has now become a global communication and journalistic field that strives on interpreting, engaging, and informing the public. As the nephew of Sigmund Freud, Bernays had mastered Freud's psychoanalytical theories and applied them to the public relations practices as society continued to change. This helped him to understand public opinion and how people interpret messages, leading him to become successful early on in life by popularizing Freud's theories. He began advertising himself as America's #1 publicist, and society reacted to it well, leading Bernays to become a strong advocate of propaganda during World War I. However, Bernays' strong propaganda tactics led American political leaders to find his actions distasteful, and were not fond of how easily propaganda could subvert and resolve conflict. Much to their discretion, however, Bernays continued to thrive. His career took off during his first major campaign for Lucky Strike cigarettes, in which he changed not only the opinions around smoking, but the way women were represented in society.
Lucky Strike cigarettes got very lucky. Struggling with their sales, they hired Bernays to come up with a creative solution of how to sell more cigarettes. Women were still struggling with being equally treated in society, but Bernays managed to change that with the Easter Parade in New York City. The parade included women smoking cigarettes, glamorizing the idea that women could smoke too. It was shocking and strayed from the majority's view, which made it one of the most successful campaigns. Bernays originally thought that the parade was a scandal and believed that the parade was news. He thought news was better than advertising, although today the parade would be considered as a form of an advertisement. He also believed that news was the best way to carry a message to the public. But again, research shows that advertisements are the best way to deliver a message. Not only was Bernays successful with commercial advertising, but he was very successful in political campaigns for or against an opponent. For instance, Bernays assisted on a government operation called PB Success that sought to overthrow Democratic Guatemala leader Jacob Arbenz Guzman in 1954. He branded Guzman as a communist and had it published in different medias. His campaign helped facilitate the overthrow of Guzman and the Banana Republic, a band of corrupt governments that controlled the economy based on the fruit markets they controlled. The United Fruit Company, a dominant contributor to the fruit market, eventually fell and had to revive the company name after Bernays revealed to the public that they were involved in the scandal. Bernays' work reflects a type of communication that public relations professionals use when immediate situations happen that require immediate action. As the world continues to grow, our media has become more dominant in sharing news stories that reflect on the negative aspects of any given situation, making it even more difficult for professionals to respond quickly to crisis situations and how to properly inform the public without causing distress. This is why much of today's modern PR is viewed as crisis management, although professionals would argue that public relations is more than that. This may be true, but we'll focus on what you're more familiar with first.
Crisis can hit in any company or country at any time. Many times, crisis can occur in the popular specialized areas such as food, pharmaceutical and medical devices, recalls, and sports and entertainment. Preparing for a crisis is the most important part to any crisis management situation. There are 3 main parts to the crisis management situations: preparing, responding, and recovering. Part of these steps include risk assessments, crisis communication strategy development, media training, comprehensive response and message development, and reputation and repair restoration. Crisis happens so often today that there are 24/7 response teams ready to address immediate situations and communicate with the public effectively within 30 minutes of any crisis situation, depending on how necessary it is to inform the public and the action that follows addressing the public.
For instance, when Justin Timberlake exposed Janet Jackson's breast during the Super Bowl performance in 2004, it caused an outrage on the millions of people watching. affirmative action taken by PR professionals assisted in CBS being fined $500,000 by the FCC because of the 554,000 complaints they received. PR executives work with the FCC to promote new broadcasting laws that require networks to institute tape delays. In the past, the fastest way to communicate with people was via radio or staging public events. But today, the number one tool to immediately communicate with any public is social media.
Social media now gives brands and/or companies the opportunity to present a statement immediately and simultaneously across several platforms, address a mass audience with the most up-to-date information, and interact with their customers directly. It brings traditional public relations to a new level because professionals can quickly transmit information to their followers or friends immediately. Working in-house allows a professional to focus on one brand and its belongings. In-house administration become brand experts and can dive deep into industry issues and the company's products and services. And the more professionals communicate with the public and dive deeper into professional work, the ethical means in which they practice in becomes an issue too. Ethical practice of professionals is very important to the public relations community, so much that professionals are required to practice with the PRSA, the Public Relations Society of America Code of Ethics. Public Relations Code of Ethics commends professionals to protect and advance the free flow of accurate and truthful information, foster informed decision-making through open communication, protect confidential and private information, promote healthy and fair competition among professionals, avoid conflicts of interest, and work to strengthen the public's trust in the profession. On top of those, a member of the team must work with honesty, advocacy, expertise, independence, loyalty, and fairness.
Public relations continues to grow every day, with the profession rising 4% every year. The value of informing, evaluation, and communicating with the public in a formal and timely manner has become greater in need as media continues to dominate our culture. From propaganda to news conferences to major advertising campaigns with newer technology, the public relations profession will continue to grow to a better and brighter future.